Hi, and thanks for joining me today. As a cat lover that now owns two beautiful Siberian kittens, I wanted to share my experience dealing with cat allergies, but knowing that I wanted cats in my life regardless of that. Of course, this is just my own personal experience, and yours may differ, but hopefully my journey can help you if you're wondering what owning a cat with cat allergies is like. I'll talk about how severe my allergies are, what research I did to decide which breed of cats would be the most suitable to me given my allergies, what my symptoms were around my cats, and what I plan on doing to help alleviate my allergies. So, to give a bit of background on my allergies, I've always been allergic to cats since I was very young, but not dogs. I've also had seasonal allergies in the spring, and the crazy thing is as I got older, I actually developed more allergies, which I have heard is actually pretty common. So, in the more recent years, I found that I'm also allergic to dogs, even though I wasn't before, and I'm also allergic to some fruits. Luckily, my allergies are not that severe, but I do feel like they impair my quality of life. So for example, every spring I'll start sneezing very frequently. I'll experience a runny nose, itchy eyes, and sometimes my nose won't stop running for days on end, which is really uncomfortable and painful for my nose from having to wipe it so often. I also get really similar symptoms when I'm around cats and dogs. But even with all of that, I decided that my love for cats could not be stopped, and I'd be willing to bear with the allergies if I was allergic to my future cats. I knew that if my allergies were bad, I would never give them up and would have some backup plan to address the issue if they did arise, which, spoilers, I did have to rely on, and I'll talk about that later in the video. When my boyfriend and I decided that we wanted kittens enough to finally get them, I started doing a lot more research into cat allergies and cat breeds. And contrary to popular belief, most cat allergens actually don't come from the fur, but from their saliva. Their saliva contains FeLD1 protein, which is what causes allergies. So the next step in my research process was to see if there were any hypoallergenic cat breeds. Some of the cat breeds that came up as hypoallergenic are Balinese, Siberian, Oriental Shorthair, Sphinx, Burmese, and Russian Blue. And as you can see from these clips, we did end up getting two beautiful Siberian kittens. To debunk another myth, truly hypoallergenic cats, in the sense that you won't have any allergic reactions to them, don't exist. Siberians are supposed to have less FeLD1 proteins than other breeds though, which is supposed to help with how severe one's allergies may be, but the protein still exists in all cats. Once we decided that we wanted Siberian kittens, I started doing a lot of research. I was watching YouTube videos to hear other people's experiences. I was reading online for articles, and surprisingly, what I found really interesting was that out of all the YouTube videos that I watched, people were saying that they were either not allergic to their Siberians at all, or they only had slight reactions for the first couple of weeks, and then their body would adjust and they no longer had symptoms. The most interesting one was someone had actually become resistant to allergies from any breed of cat after living with her Siberian for a couple years. After I saw that, I was feeling really good and hoping that maybe I would be the same. Of course, I was still prepared for the worst, but a part of me was really hopeful that maybe I'd be able to adjust really well to my kittens. So we started looking at local breeders. We went to tika.org to find certified breeders, and I know CFA.org is also another resource with legitimate breeders. I saw that some of the breeders allowed allergy visits to meet and play with the cats before you decide to bring one home, so I highly suggest that if you haven't been around the breed that you're hoping to bring home one day and want to make sure how severe your symptoms are. Some breeders also did testing on their kings and queens for their allergy levels and sold kittens at different prices depending on how low their FeLD1 proteins were. I was actually really surprised by some of the prices because they got really crazy. Our kittens were $1,500 each, but I saw some other catteries charging $3,500. Some were even higher if they tested for FeLD1 protein and if they had very low levels. But given that my allergies were more of an annoyance and not anything severe, I decided that we would go with the breeder without visiting them. Fast forward to when we brought the kids home. How did I fare? Well, for the first few weeks we got them home, I knew I was allergic to them right away. I would sneeze around them, I'd have slightly itchy eyes. I did feel like my allergies were less severe than around other non-hypoallergenic cat and dogs, but the symptoms were definitely there. We didn't let them in our bedrooms for the first couple of months because I had seen other people with allergies sleep without their cats so that their bodies could rest and recover overnight. I definitely find that when I'm sleep deprived or really tired, my symptoms are stronger than if I was well rested. So we kept at that. And the whole time I was thinking about the lucky person that only had allergies for a couple weeks and ultimately got over them. But unfortunately, after 2 months of suffering from symptoms, I realized that I probably wouldn't gain immunity to them anytime soon. I tried taking over-the-counter antihistamines like Claritin D, Allerclear, and I think they kind of helped, but I would still get sneeze attacks here and there. What worked the best for me was prescription nasal spray, Azelastine. I think that's how you pronounce it. I knew I didn't want to keep relying on taking medication every single day though. It isn't very expensive and it's not too much of a hassle, but I do have my spring allergies and cat allergies, so I figured I might as well go to my backup plan and get allergy shots. Go into some detail now on allergy shots, how they work, how much they cost for those of you who are interested. First, you'll visit an allergist to get tested on what allergies you have. I found that I was allergic to cats, dogs, trees like alder, cottonwood, and oak. And based on the results, they're going to create vials specifically for your allergy to be injected. After your allergy shot and your vials are created, you'll need to go regularly to your hospital or the clinic to get shots for 3 to 5 years. This is what the schedule for immunotherapy shots look like at my hospital. Each dosage is like the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 that you see on the sheet. That's one shot per number. And you can see that it progressively gets stronger the further along you go. For the weekly or twice weekly clinic visit dosage section, I choose to go in twice a week to speed up my build-up phase. And then once we get down to the weekly visits, you will need 5 days in between each shot, so I will be going once a week. Once you reach the end of the list, you'll be done with the build-up phase and move on to the maintenance phase. It'll take me about 6 months to get through my build-up phase, and I'm currently halfway through it. Once maintenance phase is reached, I'll receive 1 shot of the 1-to-1 ratio red vial once a month for the next 3 to 5 years. They found that you don't gain anything significant after 5 years of treatment, and you also don't lose anything by stopping at that point. So generally, that's what they recommend as a time frame for doing shots. When I go in for my shot, I'll usually check in with the office. I'll receive my shot pretty quickly after that, and then they'll have you sit in the lobby for about 30 minutes for observation, just in case you have any severe reactions, and they'll be able to treat you on the spot. Luckily, I haven't really had much of a reaction. Usually after my shots, the injection spot will be a little itchy for a couple hours. Sometimes I'll feel it for the rest of the day, but by the next day, it'll be better and I won't really get rashes or any other symptoms. So to go into the costs of it a little bit more, I do have health insurance through my employer. So here are just the out-of-pocket costs after insurance. My allergy tests was $600. My first set of vials that were created that's supposed to last throughout my build-up phase was about $1,000. And each time I go in to take a shot will be $22. So the build-up phase is about 26 shots, so that's $572 for just the shots in the build-up phase. I'll likely need to create new vials for the maintenance phase and then pay for each shot I receive during that phase. So although it is quite a bit of a time and financial commitment, I was okay choosing this path because not only am I allergic to cats, but I also have those annoying seasonal allergies, so I figured it would be worth it to just get rid of both of them at the same time. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I really do hope this was helpful for someone. Please let me know if you have any questions or want me to dive deeper into any topics. If you want to see more Anya and Uni clips, do subscribe to the channel. You can also find us on Instagram. I have their IG handle in the description box below. See you next time.